All right, let's continue with 13.4 and take a look at something called an amortization schedule. This is a repayment schedule that can be generated that will show for the entire life of your mortgage, the entire life of the loan, um, all the payments you make and what portion of the payment is paying off the principal and what portion of the payment is going towards interest. Okay, so this is the amortization schedule, kind of what it looks like. This would normally be done just using spreadsheets. We're just going to get the gist of what happens, so you understand that the payments you make on your mortgage really go to they wind up really going to pay interest, not just principal, and especially initially, much more of your monthly payment is paying off the interest owed. So that gets kind of paid off far before the principal gets paid off. All right, let's go ahead and just work this out. I'm going to go through this example, and I think we'll do one more. I don't have another one in your notes, but I think we'll do one more of them. So let's look at this one. On this one, the loan amount was $143,200. Our interest rate and our term, those would be in the table. So first thing we're going to need to do is calculate our monthly mortgage payment for this mortgage. So we'll go back to that table, 15 years, 6.5. Here's 6.5, 15 years. And we're going to take that factor, 8.71107, and we're going to use it to calculate our monthly payment, okay, our total monthly payment. So that 8.71107, okay, we'll multiply that by 143.2. And I think that's a little tricky. Remember how the 8.71107 is how much you would owe on $1,000? So this is 143,200. You could divide by 1,000 to get this, okay? Or understand it's 143,000 and then 200, so 143.2 thousandths. But you could divide by 1,000 if you were having trouble understanding that decimal point. Now, when you multiply that out, that's going to give you your monthly payment. So go ahead and take time. As I'm doing it, you do it too. Check your rounding, make sure that you're getting these same values. Okay. So you'll get about $1,247.43 if I round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, well, that's A. That's my total monthly payment. I'm going to try to put those in here where you can see them. 47.43. That's also going to be E. That's the payment every single time. This is a fixed rate mortgage. Your monthly payment is going to be that. Now, I will say there's a little more to monthly payments besides just the loan amount. So, like you also have your insurance and taxes going into your monthly payment. We'll talk about that later. So your monthly mortgage payment could change because of those, but your interest and your principal and all that stays like this on a fixed rate. Now, when you have an adjustable rate mortgage, which a lot of people do, then the interest rate can change at various times, and that could make your monthly mortgage payment change. All right, but let me continue on this. So we know our monthly mortgage payment. Now what we're trying to do is figure out, well, how much of that goes to pay the interest and how much goes towards paying off the balance of the loan. So when we do that, what we're going to do is take our balance. Here at the start, the balance was 143, the loan amount was 143,200. So that's the balance to start with. So we're going to take that and we're going to calculate how much interest we pay that first month by multiplying by the interest rate. 6.5% is 0.065, and then dividing by 12, because 6.5 is an annual interest rate, and we're talking about how much interest we would owe in just 1 month. Okay, so we do that, and we wind up with, let me do it real quick. You should be doing it too. We wind up with about $775.67. Okay, so that is the amount of our mortgage payment that's going towards the interest. So what we could do is take our mortgage payment amount and subtract the amount going towards interest, and that'll tell us how much is going towards the principal. Okay, so I'm going to take the 1247.43 and subtract the 775.67, and I get the 471.76. Okay, so $471.76 is going towards paying off our principal. Okay, so that means our balance is no longer 143,200. We can take our original balance and subtract the 471.76 to see how much we still owe. But I wanted you to see that you don't subtract your whole monthly payment. Okay, so you wind up with a remaining balance after you make your first monthly payment. Your remaining balance would be this. Okay, 142,000. Let me just write it right here. $142,728.24 would be how much you'd still owe. Okay. All right, so let's try that process one more time. And then I think I'll do another one with slightly different terms. Okay. All right, so then we'll start over again. So we know our monthly payment during this for the second month would be the same. So we don't need to do any calculating to get E. To get F, we're going to take and find out how much interest we owe that second month. So we're going to take our principal that was at the end of the first month. That's how much you start off the second month owing. We're going to multiply by the interest rate and divide by 12. Okay. All right. And when we do that, we find that we owe, or a little bit less of our monthly payment goes towards interest. Okay. Which means out of that monthly payment, since $773.11 is going towards interest, we could subtract that, and that's going to tell us how much it's going to go towards paying off the balance of the loan. So this time, the interest portion is $773.11, and the principal portion is $474.32. Okay, right? And so now I can take the balance I had, and I've now made that monthly payment, but only $474.32 goes towards paying off the principal. So I'm still going to owe $142,253.92. So we're now down to this. Okay. So the amortization schedule, the repayment schedule, would keep doing this. And if it's 15 years, you would be making 15 times 12, you would be making 180 payments. So it would have 180 lines, and there at the bottom right, you want to keep going until the balance is zero. Okay. All right, let me go ahead. I'm going to get some more paper in here and do one more. You could just do it on a blank sheet. Okay. Let's do one more of these. Let's just change the information and try it one more time. Okay. And so why don't I use, let's use this one. What if the mortgage amount was $80,000? And let's say it was 6% annual interest. And it was going to happen for the term of the loan was 25 years. So we're going to create our own amortization schedule. Okay. All right. So we want to figure out our monthly payment. So we're going to come in to start with, and we're going to go to that chart because 6% and 25 is in that chart. If it hadn't been, we'd go to that formula and calculate our monthly payment. So let's go to 6% in 25 years, 6%, 25 years, and there it is. Okay. Okay. We used this example earlier, that 6.44301. Well, I need to multiply that by how many thousands I'm borrowing. So this is 80,000. Divide by 1,000, get your 80. I'm going to multiply by 80, and that's going to give me my monthly payment. Okay. That's $550.44. That's my monthly payment. That'll be the monthly payment every single time. Okay. Now let's get how much of that is going towards interest. Okay. So that's when I'm going to take the 80,000 that I owe times the interest rate as a decimal and divided by 12, since that's an annual interest rate. And I'm doing this every month. That turns out to be $400. Okay. So that's the interest portion of that monthly payment. Okay. So now I'm going to take that monthly payment of $515.44 and subtract 400, and that'll tell me how much is going towards paying off the loan. So $115.44. Okay. That's the principal part. So that's going to go towards paying off the principal. All right. So that means if that goes towards paying off my loan, that rather than owing $80,000, after I make my first payment, I can subtract that from $80,000, and that tells me what my new balance would be. That's my new loan balance, the new principal. Okay. So then we start the process over again. So we know our monthly payment is going to be that $515.44 that we already did. We don't have to do any new calculation. So now we're going to calculate what portion of that goes towards interest and what portion goes towards the principal. So to get what portion goes towards interest, I'm going to take the balance, how much I now owe after making my first payment, do the multiply by 0.06 and divide by 12, and that's going to give you the interest portion. So $399.42 goes towards the interest during that second, when you make that second payment, which means out of that $515.44, only $116 is going towards the principal. Okay. And then that 116 would go towards paying off what you owe. So at the start of that payment period, you owed this much. Now 116.02 is going to be subtracted from it, and you'll be down to only owing $79,768.54. Okay. All right, so I just wanted to run through a couple of those for you. This part on adjustable rate mortgages, I've completed that on the guided notes that I passed out in class. We're not going to have time to really talk a lot about it, but you might want to read through it. You know, you still use the same kind of formula when you initially calculate your monthly payment. But the thing with adjustable rate mortgages is they can wind up changing over time. So I can't spend much time on this, but I think you ought to know about it, because a lot of time, first-time home buyers, a lot of times will do an adjustable rate mortgage instead of a fixed rate, okay, to start with. And so you wind up getting your interest rate a little differently. It's the index rate plus the margin. and there'll be some little adjustment period that's written up in the loan. So like this particular example, it would adjust, the interest rate would adjust for the first time after 3 years, and then it would do it every year after that. So that means you don't know what your mortgage payment is exactly going to be over time, because the index rate might go up. Like for this one, after those 3 years, the index rate had gone up. So now you're going to owe a little more in your monthly payment. But anyway, don't really have time to do much with that. I didn't want to overwhelm you in this section, with this material. So I'm going to wind up doing a video now on closing costs.